Hi, I'm Casey, and today I'm going to be doing a book tag that I don't know that I've seen anyone personally who's done this on YouTube. I am sure there are people that have, but I Google searched this, and this is a spring cleaning book tag. And the place that I found this tag was on literaryweaponry.com. I'll link them down below. They credit Bionic Bookworm as where they found it, but when I tried to go to that page, I didn't see it. So I'm not sure who the originator is. This is where I found it, and that's who they linked to, and I couldn't go any further than that because that person's page is no longer available. But it is early March, and this is around the time that I start spring cleaning in the house, and I start especially on my bookshelves, even though it's like there's like 4 inches of snow outside our house right now because the weather just can't get its shit together. But I thought it would be fun to do a spring cleaning book tag, especially one that could help me start clearing off some of these shelves. Ideally not this one, but definitely like some of these over in there as well. So let's start. I'm going to have a Chromebook in my lap so I can read these questions. I have not looked at any of these questions since I found and saved this page about a month ago. So we'll see what comes about. Ooh, this first one is very interesting. And it's... I'm dropping all my shit. It's tagged as The Struggle of Getting Started, a book series you struggle to begin because of its size. Ooh. Oh, man. I'm not usually intimidated by size of a book series. Oh man, I really don't know. I don't think I have any on my shelves anywhere that I haven't started. Nope. Here, found one. Let me pull it off the shelves. So I guess the way I'm going to answer this is anything similar to like The Snowman by Joe Nesbo, and I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. I'm pretty sure this is, an Inspector Harry Hole novel. This is number whatever in the series. I do have a hard time picking up books like this even when I'm interested in them, because I often wonder if you have to have some previous knowledge of the other books and the characters and the dynamics before jumping into the middle of the series. That being an exception because I bought that for myself for my birthday last year because I'm very interested in that one particular novel. But especially thrillers like that are somewhere in the line of a series that I'm just not interested in, like, for example, books 1 through 5, but book number 6 and book number 10 I'm very interested in. It's very hard for me to just pick those individual ones up because I'm afraid that I'm going to have missed something or there's going to be some really important element of the character or the plot in there that I'm missing. But I guess that's how I'm going to answer that one. Ooh, the next one is Cleaning Out Your Closet, a book or series you want to unhaul. Ooh, I did an unhaul like a month ago or something on this channel. So I'm not pretty good. Oh, I actually have a good example of this one. So I'm kind of going to answer both of these elements, so a book and or a series, because I have 4 books here by the same author, and I'm sure in a moment you'll know why I am getting rid of at least one of these. But I have 4 books here from Orson Scott Card, who is a deeply problematic author and deeply flawed person with some very, very horrible viewpoints. But I have these books here, and this one, The Lost Gate, I bought 10, 11 years ago, sometime before my husband and I moved out of state. I had nose itch, I'm so sorry. Because I really did enjoy Orson Scott Card's writing. I do still love Ender's Game and Speaker for the Dead. But you know, as time has gone on, this is just an author that I absolutely do not pick up from anymore, and I do not buy from new at all. And I just don't even buy his books used. There are some authors that I continue to buy their books used because I enjoy their writing well enough, or I enjoy certain things from them, like, bleh. I enjoy certain things from them or certain elements from their books that makes me want to continue reading from them without supporting them. And Orson Scott Card's just not one of those authors. I've found that I prefer other authors more. I prefer other fantasy and science fiction a lot more than I enjoy his. And so this one I'm definitely wanting to unhaul, and I'm going to unhaul. But I have a series here from him that's the First Formic War. And I have all 3 books, and the only reason why I struggle to donate these is because these were given to me as a Christmas gift several years ago. I want to say 6 or 7 years ago. I don't know. However long. These were published in 2012. So yeah, probably about 7 years ago. One of my cousin-in-laws got this series for me for Christmas, and I feel really bad having never read it and then just donating it after it sat on my shelves for so long, especially because they were gifts. And so I keep toying around with donating these, and I keep not getting them off of my desk because I'm like, no, they were a Christmas gift, and you should make a point to read them, and then you can donate them, and you don't even have to tell anyone you read them. But these are definitely books that I am looking to get out of my house and get out of my life. Ooh, this next question is Opening Windows and Letting Fresh Air In, a book that was refreshing. The most recent breath of fresh air book that I read was definitely You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. This was incredibly sweet. It was incredibly cute, and it was, I picked it up as an audiobook from my library because I thought it was going to be a palate cleanser. And I also wanted to grab it because I read this last month in February, and it was Black History Month, and I really wanted to grab a book that focused on Black joy and not just Black trauma or pain. And that was absolutely such a sweet book, and it was really precious, and it was really refreshing, and it was definitely the palate cleanser I needed. Ooh, the next question is, I keep saying that for every question. Ooh, no, I'm so stupid. Washing Out the Sheets, a book with a scene you wish you could rewrite. Ooh, I'm gonna have to think about this one for a second. The scene I would rewrite is in The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. This is an incredible novel. It's really tense, it's really scary, it's really frightening. The Elkhead woman is such a brilliant protagonist. And there's one thing in here that I would change. I do not like animal cruelty in books, specifically when it deals with dogs. It's something I'm very sensitive about, and it's something that will absolutely turn me off of a book or a movie. And so spoilers for this, sort of early on in this book, there's a dog named Harley, and he's such a sweet dog, and some horrible things happen to him, right? Things that I will totally give credit to the author here that you could see coming, that you could tell was going to happen, that the tension built up, and I will say for me personally, I knew it was about to happen. I was not okay with it, and I was scared shitless, and I did not like it, and I was upset about it when it happened, but I knew it was coming, right? And so I could prepare myself a bit. And poor Harley does not get the ending he deserves. Harley suffers a horrible, graphic, violent death that thankfully doesn't take place on page or on screen, but Lewis stumbles into the aftermath of it, and I about threw this book at the wall. I was so upset about it, and I hated it, and that would be the one thing I would change. I would not have Harley die like that after what had already happened to him and after all of the effort that Lewis and Peta were putting into saving him and keeping him happy. And it really tanked my enjoyment of this book quite a bit. But if you're not sensitive to that, then this might be a 5-star book for you. But that would be the one thing I would change in here. Throwing Out Unnecessary Knicknacks, a book in a series you didn't think was necessary. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. So one of my favorite series of all time is the Dark Tower series by Stephen King. Does it go off the rails? Yeah. Is it weird? Yeah. Does half of it make sense or need to be in there? No, probably not. But it's a very nostalgic series for me. The first Stephen King book I ever read was book 3 in the series, and it's maintained a very special place in my heart. Stephen King in general maintains a very special place in my heart because his writing makes me feel very close to both of my parents because they both loved Stephen King. But that being said, there is a book in that series that I don't think was entirely necessary, and I don't think I have the same opinion as most people. I know most people hate book 6, Song of Susanna. I actually really enjoy this one. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's the best in the series, but it starts to resolve some things, right? And so I think it has a very important place in the series, and just in general, it at least does something, right? It at least begins moving in the direction of the ending, okay? The book I think is completely unnecessary in the series is book 5, The Wolves of Kala. And again, I enjoy this, even if it's kind of like, oh yeah, that is kind of shit. I think you can tell that after book 4 that Stephen King really did feel kind of the push to finish this, which he has talked about himself. He finished it. He had that horrible hit and run where he almost died, and there were so many fan letters he got asking him to tell him the ending for the Dark Tower series because these fans just desperately wanted to know, and he just didn't know how it was going to end. And I think you can really tell that this was really where it started just kind of pushing to complete instead of like taking a little bit more time, or at least that's how I felt about it. But this one here, I love in here the weaponized plates that the women have. I love the introduction of, I believe it's Father Callahan is his name. Oh my god. All my shit is falling out of my lap. Yeah. The introduction of Father Callahan, and this is really when I feel like the books start really kind of tying into this major multiverse theme. So there are definitely some good things in here, but like the Sneetches, the wolves, the fight, the like telekinetic kid army or whatever it is, the factory, the telekinetic kid factory where they're farming the kids. It's all very strange, and I think that this was where the series really started to lose me a bit and lose a lot of momentum. But I don't think this one was entirely necessary in the series. Ooh. Polishing Doorknobs, a book that had a clean finish. Ooh, okay. I think that's gonna have to be a one and done because series are harder. Okay, for this one, I'm gonna pick A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. This one I thought ended really well and really solidly. I knew this one was in the first in a series of 3 books. That's called a trilogy. Dumbass. And I kind of expected this to be a lot of setup and a lot of, like a lot of what first books typically are, which is very much trying to build the characters and set them up and set up future plots and set up like the big picture, even while the smaller picture's happening. And I really loved how this ended. I didn't think this needed to be more of a series. I don't know if it was originally supposed to be a series. I just thought this had a nice clean ending. It hinted at a lot of things that I think are going to happen in the next 2 books. But overall, I just thought this had such a nice solid ending that didn't really need to have more after it, and I'm kind of excited to see how the rest of the series plays out, but this is my pick. Ooh, say that for everyone. Reaching to Dust the Fan, a book that tried too hard to relay a certain message. Oh, okay. The one I'm going to pick for this is another Stephen King, and it's Elevation. This, I think, this is very heavy-handed, is primarily my biggest complaint with it. I will say I enjoyed this when I read it. I probably rated it too high on Goodreads because I saw a review that was like, oh my god, gay people don't face discrimination anymore. It's 2018 or whatever year this was published. How dare you, Stephen? And I was just like, okay, calm down, for fuck's sake. That is absolutely not true, and that's a bad take. But yeah, this one is absolutely heavy-handed, and I do think that this could... I do think that this has a lot of virtue signaling, and it just doesn't quite do enough for the message and for the themes it really wanted to communicate. It just doesn't do enough to give them a chance to breathe, be seen. It's very much in your face and not in a good way. Okay, and the last question here is the tiring yet satisfying finish of Spring Cleaning, a book series that was tiring but satisfying to get through. Okay, I am woefully behind on series. I'm going to kind of sort of maybe a little bit cheat here because right now I'm not finishing a lot of series. I'm kind of more catching up on series and starting them. But I'm going to say Animorphs for a couple of reasons here. Number one, there's like 70 books in this series, I think. I'll put the total numbers somewhere here. I will. My husband will. But I loved Animorphs as a kid. I still love Animorphs. My husband and I last year, just for just random happy April, we bought the complete series of Animorphs books because we really wanted to reread them. And I haven't reread all of them. I'm still up in like the mid-teens or so. I think the last one I read was the Andalite Chronicles, technically. But I love that series so much. I think it was so important I want to say to both of us growing up, but if I'm wrong on that, please just put a correction up here somewhere on the screen. But it was something that was very special to me growing up, and it was something that for me is for me it's something that's very, very indicative of my childhood, and it is something that I often kind of look back on and think, oh wow, this really did kind of lead me down, not only reading more, but being interested in science fiction and horror and, these kind of fantastical yet human war stories. Because Animorphs is about fucking child soldiers in a space war. And it is dark and depressing, and it holds such a special place in my heart. And it is tiring because of how many books there are. And it's so satisfying, not only to finish, but to just read in general. And especially looking back as, an almost 33-year-old woman now, it's very satisfying to me to go through the series and to read it. Okay, so that was the Spring Cleaning book tag. That was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. I'm gonna go put my shelves back together now. If you are watching this and you have your own fun or, frustrating answers to some of these questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. And I don't know. I guess I'll see you the next time I make one of these. Okay. Bye. Ah!